Typogram is a new web app that you can use to style short amounts of text, such as headlines or logos, or maybe the typography on your Instagram or other social media posts. And people are praising it for its intuitive interface and the tools, and some are even calling it more advanced than Adobe. But I'm not seeing a lot of things that you cannot do in Adobe applications, and maybe you haven't found the tools that are already existing in Illustrator or InDesign. And that's why I'm doing this and comparing the Typogram web app to Illustrator and InDesign. So let's enter the Typogram Studio to style a short headline. We can add a text here. I'm entering a return, and then we can also select this and then go to OK, and then you see what gets added is just 2 text objects here. So the next thing that we can do here is select the letters in the text to style them. And we're going to take a look at how to do it in here and then how to do it in Illustrator and InDesign. So we have these different selection tools and can select the whole word or letters, shapes, icons, and gaps. So you could include into this some icons, which I haven't done here. And what we can do is select letters like this, just click on them, and then we get a nice panel here where we have the substitutions. And maybe you have already seen it when I'm using that move tool and select the whole word. Then in here you find all the substitutions for all the letters in this word, limited to this word. So that's what's included in the font. Let's go to the letter again. And then we can just move it around, or even we can select a different font for that, or color, and whatnot. The next thing is we can also select the gaps, and then you get this here and can adjust the kerning here and set this to other places and adjust the kerning there. Or you can select all of them and then adjust all of them at once, just using these keys here, so the arrow keys in my case, to adjust that. Let's take a look at what Illustrator has to offer in that regard. So we're going to Illustrator. I have already set the text, which is 2 lines in this case. And this is a point text. So if I do it like this, then you see it gets stretched. That's what I don't want. So now what can we do here? We do not have that selection of gaps. So in order to adjust those gaps, you have to go to the character panel and adjust the tracking or the kerning. And you can adjust the tracking like this. And when you want to adjust the kerning, you have to double click here and then adjust the kerning. There are also shortcut keys for that. I cannot remember them, so I'm just showing you where to find them. You just go to Edit Keyboard Shortcuts to the menu commands, and then we have other text. And there you see all the shortcut keys you can use for kerning and tracking. So that's how you can do that more easily. But let's take a look at some more intuitive interface here. What I have here is a pretty small toolbar, and maybe you haven't seen anything else than that. So then you can go to Window, Toolbars, Advanced, and then we have all the tools that are currently installed. This includes some plugins. And the nice, interesting tool is when you go here, click a little longer, then we have the touch type tool. And with the touch type tool, you can click on any character and then you can select it and move it around if you want to, or rotate it. And you can also squash it if you want to, but we don't want that, of course. But what you can also do is now take this and assign a different color to that, or assign a different font to that, which is possible as well. Let's go back to this, and I'm going to set this to the font I'm usually using when demonstrating what I now want to demonstrate, which is Bigham. And Bigham has a lot of alternative glyphs. So that nice panel in Typogram that only lists the alternatives for the characters that have been used in the text, that doesn't exist in Illustrator or in InDesign, but we only have a panel that lists the complete font. So we can have the current selection. Currently, there is not a single selected. So now I have selected a single character, and then we have the current selection. But you can also set this to the entire font, and then you get the entire font, which can be a lot of letters. But we have something else. I'm going to close this. So when you select one of these letters, either by doing this, then you see we've got this little pop-up that has some of these alternate glyphs, and you can click on that and it gets assigned immediately. Or you can go to here and then we get just that selection. This is also working when you are using the touch type tool. Like this, and then you get that selection as well, and then you can immediately substitute that like this. Let's go to InDesign, because in InDesign, when I select one letter here and move the cursor over it, then you see we've got this little pop-up as well that has the alternative letters for that selection. So you do have that as well, and we also have these shortcuts to edit the tracking and the kerning. So let's go to the keyboard shortcuts, and then we can go to text and tables, and in there we can find those shortcuts. So what you have assigned is listed down here, and there you see what you can do with those shortcuts to speed up your editing. If you do not want to use the shortcuts, then of course we've got a character panel in here as well. And I can open it here, and you see there we have the kerning and the tracking. Everything in InDesign is aimed at formatting huge amounts of text, so we do not get that touch type text tool. So if you want to style short text such as headlines or logo type, then it's better to use Illustrator, because there you have all the options for that.